dad couldn't agree on one name for me, okay? So they had quite a few energetic discussions about what to name me. So for 15 days, I had no name, okay? No name. Talk about identity crisis. So one fine day, when my mom and dad had their regular energetic discussions about what to name me, my sister was there reading some of the fairy tale books. So my mom looked at her, looked at those books, and she went, I want my daughter's name to be Fairy. And dad was like, fine. And that's how I got my name. Okay? So I tend to get this question a lot, why your name is Fairy. So, what is a story? A story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. That is also what a blog or an essay is. But when it comes to a story, like kind of a formula, there is no formula, sorry. But you can take this: introduction, conflict, resolution. Okay? So the story that I just told you about me, the introduction had characters, me, my mom, dad. Setup, the time was 27 years back when I was a kid. Okay, so that time is okay. And the introduction of the situation, what's happening. Conflict, what to make their child. So that was conflict. Resolution. So resolution has one more character, which is my sister. Now that is a twist. So when she came is when they agreed on a name. So that's resolution. It's conflict. Every story needs a problem. Without it, it's a very boring story. It's just like our life, right? If you have a challenge, it's more interesting. So these are the three parts which I find is really important and simple. That stories are also made up of these things. Character. Now, what is a character? Character is you and me. Okay? We with our different quirks. Quirks, like when I'm talking, I'm touching my hair. Now that's a quirk. Not everyone does that. World building setting. Nashik 2016 is a setting. This is the world. This is the auditorium. How many of you guys have seen The Dark Knight? Okay, you know Joker, right? Yes, easily. Great. Jerry Maguire. You guys know Tom Cruise? Yes, please say yes. He's a very good, just Google it. So, in Jerry Maguire, which is a really old movie, he tells Renée Zellweger, the heroine, you complete me. Now that's a romantic movie. In The Dark Knight, Joker tells Batman, you complete me. So in the first part, that is so romantic. In the second part, when Joker tells Batman, that's so sinister. So that's the tone. The setting at which you write the dialogue or tell the dialogue or flow the story is what the tone is about. The setting is very important. So tone, does anyone have a question on that? Because it is a little, it takes time to get about it. Do you guys know about tone? So I'll move forward. Yes, thank you. So why stories? Why stories? Human is a visual creature. So when we are born, we start with stories. We think in visual images. That's why comic books are doing so well. That's why when you write a blog, blogs with more images get more reach. So Google knows it. Some people say, write for Google so that Google, looks at your blog and then gives wider reach. But you have to write for your reader because Google is adapting itself for the reader, for the user. And if you're going to write for the audience, that's around, so the earth has around 7 billion population. And you're going to write for that 7 billion population, you're going to fail miserably. But if you think in this way, that you're going to write for yourself, you are going to find an audience. So when I say that write for yourself, I mean be thorough. Fact check whatever you write. Alright? That's when you'll get your audience. and talking about being visual, they'll say that write more, use more images. It's because when you look at images, it becomes easier to connect. So that's why stories matter. That's why people like stories. Moving on is why stories. Now, don't even take it from me. You can't see the name down. It's Einstein. Einstein said that imagination is more important than knowledge. So when a guy like this tells you this, it is important. Because stories is all about imagination, how your mind works. So the other part why stories help is because it chunks important information and makes it more digestible. Complex things can be made really easy. It helps in explaining difficult problems. Like, for example, you guys must have a really good maths teacher. I mean, guys, I didn't have a good maths teacher. He was horrible, I'm sorry. But then you'll know what I mean. So when some complex situation is made easy by using visual tools, you are able to digest it more easily, be it maths, science, or anything. When you put image, it's not only for kids, even for adults. If you see an image, it gets better to understand it. So now we come back again, how to write a story. So there are many different ways. I told you these 3 topics, which is really easy for me: introduction, conflict, and resolution. There are also the other parts, which I told you before. But if you follow this part, it becomes more easy. It becomes easy to understand, because when you're trying to storyify your blog, you also have a lot of information inside your head. Say you're writing a blog on telescopes. How are you going to write a story on telescopes? You have all this information, maybe the location where you want to source these material from, or what are the best telescopes and all. It becomes difficult to, add the format of story using all these information. So it's very important to know the structure, what you want to write as. So when I say that introduction, conflict, and resolution, say, so when you have a blog on telescopes, you're going to write, today I'm going to focus on the location. This part of telescope is going to be conflict resolution. So if you have a structure in mind, you'll get ideas. So why to write a story in a particular way? Why to add? Because it will give you ideas on how to go. Why to follow a structure? So that you know how to move on, how to go ahead. So that's why. How to write an engaging story? What does action word means? Verbs. Walking, dancing, the ing wala. That's movement, that's happening. It's happening right now. So it makes you be in the moment. So that's a bit about stories. Stories, you can't be in another world. You have to be present, right? So that you can engage with them. Stories, it's kind of meditative. So you can't just block, you're telling a story and you just forgot. That's why this structure or format is important. Introduction, conflict, and resolution, so that you know where you're going and you have to be there. So once you know this is when you break it. You can say that this is kind of a rule, but you can only break a rule when you know how to break it, right? So it's important to know the format, so you can break it. So experimenting with chronology, what I just said, introduction, conflict, and resolution. Talking about this format, there's this movie, Will Ferrell. Do you guys know Will Ferrell?
Yes.
Great. So he made this movie called Anchorman 2. In that movie, that first part is when Will Ferrell is actually drowning and there's a shark coming behind. That's the starting scene. Just imagine, that's a hookup. That's such a strong, scene, like what's happening. So that was the last scene in the movie, and they put it up at the front, starting, which was pretty interesting. So you can do that once you know how to work around introduction, conflict, and resolution. Experimenting with chronology, please understand this and then do it, or else, because whatever story is there, it has to make sense. That's why it's very important that you know the structure, so that you can make sense. The reader needs to know, okay, yeah, this is happening because of this and that and that. More movements, something is happening. More movements means editing. Editing is your friend. Initially you're going to find it really difficult, but when you edit, you reduce words that you don't need. So edit by having more movements. So say a character walked up to the bar. You can straight away start, if you can, Okay, Ferry Dharawat moved 4 steps and then stood here and then started her talk. You can straight away start Ferry Dharawat started her talk. This portion is not needed, so remove it. See what you need. Just don't waste anyone's time. Then character backstories. If you are a character, what is your life? You need to know that. You need to know so in minute detail. That's why it becomes more easy to write as a personal blog rather than an informational blog or a technological blog. Conflict and resolution, of course, I just said about it. You can move on. Blogs. Yes, blog is your diary you share with an online world, so be careful what you share. It's good to share, but don't share all the details that you might not want to share. Please. Personal blog, information blog, technical blog. So personal blog is your ideas, your experiences, your personal stories. So adding stories in this kind of blog is very easy. So I'll share one more story. We have time. Can you tell me how much time we have? We have 5 minutes. So okay, I think I'm going to skip. I'm just going to give you a bit about it. Know facts about your topic. That means you need to know what you're writing about. Write headings and subheadings. So in blog, it's very important you write heading and subheading. It helps you skim your blog easily. Right. If you're writing about telescopes, so your subheading will be this kind of telescope is found in Mumbai. And then you're going to write where exactly it is found. You can find this particular kind of telescope in this part of the world, and then the address and all those details and your experience. In personal blogs, I would like to add, when you add your thought plus fact, it makes more weightage. Just don't write facts, like this happened, that. Your thought, what you felt about it, how it went ahead. So see to it whenever you write, there's thought and there's fact. Fact is like what actually happened, and thought is like how you felt about it and what made you do what you did. So if somebody just came up and slapped you, that is a fact. Then what you did, you beat the shit out of that person. That's how you felt, and that's the reaction of that incident. So thought plus fact, please remember. Write heading and subheading. Subheading is important because Google actually picks up those things which is user friendly, and if your blog can be seen in say seconds, it can be skimmed through, that's good because people don't have time and you don't want to waste anyone's time. So write headings and subheadings. Format your blog field through. Formatting is what? Is part of writing headings and subheadings. Images. Images is like, as I said, stories is visual. Human is a visual feature, and that's why stories are so good, because stories uses words to create images. So in blogs, you can actually have an image. So it's important to choose what kind of an image you want in the right size, which makes formatting, which is also formatting, it makes it look so good. Give proper tags and write categories. Again, it is very important. Categories, I think you guys know better than me. So I'm just going to move on. How to write a blog, tools to help you write. So how many you guys are writing, right? Like any new to blogging? Okay. So these are the tools that might help you. So when you write something which is not grammatically correct, it gives you really poor impression, and Google is also not going to pick it up. So Grammarly is one tool which can actually highlight all your errors. And Hemingway. So when you start writing, you tend to write in long sentences. I love long sentences. Wodehouse writes beautiful long sentences. If you have ever read him, please read him. Wodehouse, P.G. Wodehouse. But you cannot always write long sentences because thought, the essence of the line just goes out. So Hemingway is an app which can really help. Images, this Adobe Spark that it is. So they have really good library of images where you can edit what you want to write, which works fantastically for feature images. Similarly, Canva, but Canva doesn't have that big library. Adobe Spark is better, but still these are two really great for you. And again, write for you. You will get the audience. Don't think about that. So when to add stories to your blog? Informational So the point of stories is to make sure that information is made easy, it simplifies and it makes it visual. But you cannot always add stories to all kinds of blogs, like informational blogs, top 10 colleges in Nashik. You can't add story in that. Say if it is a little complex, like for a particular student who got a particular percentage and who wants to go in a particular field, maybe you can create a character or meet a person who is like that and give a bit of profile of them and then initiate your blog. So an informational blog which is highly informational about the stuff you want to give, it's like information dump, you don't need to add it because it's going to complicate it further. And so yeah, it is important to know why you're adding stories, to make it easy for the reader to get the information, to not make it complex. So know when you don't have to use it. Moving on. Yes, narrate it in first person. How to add story in your blog. Again, this is a very short detail. Narrate it in first person like I'm talking to you. This is first person. Add your experiences, your examples, and tie it up together. So I told you about thought and fact. Your introduction needs to have everything, including what the reader is going to follow it up. So you're going to say, this happened and I felt it like this. In the conclusion, tie it up together. So mention what you mentioned in the introduction and in the end. It is going to give your reader a really good reading experience. So, see for the fact that when I came, I was really nervous. But then I eased onto it and I started practicing a bit more. And you're seeing around and traveling. So I have traveled around this year a lot, and I've done this PPT before as well. Not this exactly, but I've been to WordCamp before. But I've never done it together, traveling and doing PPT, because it's a little stressful. But then I'm here, I'm actually doing this, and it's better. So when I say that I was nervous before, I don't think I'm that nervous as I thought I was. This is the blog. I can write this as a personal experience in my blog. Okay, so I tied it up together. How? By pointing out with my introduction that I was nervous, and my resolution is I am still a bit nervous, but not that much. So something like that. You have to tie it up together, what you started with and how you're ending with. Moving on, so basically what I'm telling you guys is read, introduce yourself to some really good books, comics, movies, serials. If you want, I can share some of those names later. When you find me, I can give you suggestions. Be open to new ideas. So we are stories together. Experiences make stories. So you can talk to the person sitting to your left or right and tell them how you got to know about WordCamp Nashik. That is a story. The conversation happening is a story. Me standing here is a story, like how I got to know about it, what I thought about, what kind of topic I want to give. Then I shortlisted this topic, and then here I am. Everything is a story. They said that even Atom has a story. There's a very old saying that says that you spend around, if you meet a wise person and you read a book for a year, that experience is almost the same. So meet good people, meet wise people, and talk to them. There are lots of stories, happening all around us. Think in stories as like beginning, middle, and end. And keep writing. You're going to write really bad, shit stuff. I've been writing professionally for around more than 4 years. Before that, 2 years, all shitty poems, really bad poems. But I think now I'm getting good money for my work. But I started with shitty stuff, really bad stuff. So don't stop writing, and don't believe when people say that, you're writing good. Don't believe it. Because you're not going to improve like that. Because once you think, yeah, I'm doing good, you're going to stop improving. And I think that's about it. I hope I'm on time. You can meet me here. Stories for Hire is a thing I started. I'm going to write about stories and everything. And you can please like it, because I'm not posted anything, because I'm going to post after this. And if you have any queries regarding anything, I'm generally approachable. You can ask me questions. You can email me right here, and that's it.